That's great. Are you actually so? My question would be: so, are you actually trying to develop some of the open hardware tech regarding that? So, I mean, like RTK GPS stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, some of the stuff we're looking at on OSC website,
Yeah.
so some of those technologies are very interesting to us, the open tractor and things like that.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Sorry. My monitors are messed up here. Let me try to correct that real quick. Um, this thing. Three. I've got this triple monitor set up. I'm on Linux Mint, and it keeps like rearranging the monitors.
Oh,
So
sure. Yeah.
let me see.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Um, where did that thing go? Okay, okay. Um, got it. Let me open up a new window here because I wanted to look straight. Okay, okay. So let's do it. Yeah. So tell me more. Like what you're thinking and what would be potential points of collaboration. So I understand you've got some land. Um, how, how are you able to bootstrap that, like or fund it? Is this actually through through public invention or?
No, so I'm doing this personally. It's kind of well, kind of a one-man show right now. So
Mm-hmm.
bootstrapping, like you said, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of the work I'm doing with public invention is certainly in support of that. So with public invention, I am re-engineering the open flexure microscope for veterinary medicine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so their funding for that project is helping me to start this.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So tell me, I mean, what would you like to see, and tell me more about your side, how we can, what your ideas are.
Yeah, so I think basically, looking for guidance and how to start something like this, and looking for ways that I can support your initiative, because we're at the ground level. So one thing I'm doing is reaching out to stakeholders in this community of open source field ready ecology and open source medical and health for rural resilience. And so
Mm-hmm.
one thing I'm looking at is working with stakeholders in the community. So working with Auburn University's veterinary medicine program, and to try
Auburn,
and figure out
Auburn.
what,
You said Auburn. Mm-hmm.
yes,
Yep.
and that's where I did my PhD. And so I have a close connection with that institution. And so kind of building some of the resources that are unavailable for them now as they're pursuing public health and One Health objectives. So trying to integrate the healthcare ecosystem between humans and animals and consumers to try and create a healthier ecosystem in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So working on guided research projects, internships, fellowships for students, and designing infrastructure that supports uh, so Auburn University's vet med program, public invention, and open flexure microscopes project here on developing vet med technology, and just seeking input from stakeholders like yourself. What would you like to see in such a site, and how can we support each other? How can I be a sort of service to you?
Yeah, I mean, let's develop one very high deal for us in terms of solving agriculture or solving local food production would be automation, and that, like with the tractors we have, what if we were to develop? I mean, we've thought a lot about this RTK GPS guidance for the hydraulic tractors that we do have. Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. I'm starting a mobile robotics project with Nathan Seidel at SparkFun,
Oh, no kidding.
kind of
Right.
having that interaction with Alicia at Oshawa. Um, and so, yeah, I think we are looking for ways to do that, integrate high fidelity GPS into mobile robots for autonomy.
I love that.
especially in the
Oh man,
rural space.
that'd be great. Is so Ashwa, now regarding Alicia and Nathan, did they actually mention about our work? Like they suggest contacting us? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, tell me more about what Nathan, more about the initiative on the mobile robotics. Tell me more.
Yeah. So, I've got this land and am looking for ways to promote sustainable topography mapping. So this is something that especially is a challenge in the southeast because of heavy rains and storms that
Mm-hmm.
flush up from the southeast and from the southern coast. So keep ways to have autonomous robots to do navigation and topographic mapping of these floodplain regions. So I've got some mobile robots, including a quadruped. Nathan at Smartphone, so they've developed a high fidelity GPS model, but are likely to deprecate that project. I think it is not being sold and it may not reach the market. So they're looking for ways to implement that device before it is off their project book. And so implementing it here with us is one way for them to get some value out of that project.
Does this apply to quadrupeds or all kinds of rover style things? Like, what's the stack there?
Yeah, so we're using quadruped because that's what I have access to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the most relevant to the situation of like, emergency deployment. However,
Uh huh.
my ultimate goal is for this to be part of a long-term stack, like you mentioned, for uh, regular agricultural maintenance. So I think getting the open tractor built and getting this model on there would be a huge advantage.
Let's do so November we're planning to open source. I don't know if you're interested in skid steer style machines. Right now we're getting a lot into construction.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean skid
Yes.
steer is also highly agricultural related machines. Like you put all kinds of implements on it. But
Yep.
we're right now it's looking we want to do a crazy sprint of 2 months. We would fund it. Like right now we're looking at okay, we need to buy a skid we actually got a skid steer just now, right? Cost like 40K, but lifetime is only 5,000 hours. It means 5 years of industrial use. You get to throw it away. And no, let's talk about lifetime design, just like we did with the life track. So we're going to open source all of that, and we're looking at getting the CNC torch tables out at this point off the shelf because ours is not working. Like we don't have a working CNC torch table, but we've got all the hydraulics and drive systems, all of that worked out. We would like to add remote control and GPS to it. So if we can collaborate on that, that'll be we're looking at doing this November 1, like
Starting in November or finishing in November?
no, starting. So right now we're just beginning discussions. We just started an apprenticeship program. So maybe I can fill you in. Have you seen anything about it's called the Future Builders Academy?
Yep.
Okay. That's the deal. September 1 it starts with a 2-week builder crash course, and then after that there's 6 weeks where you can actually build your own house, things like that. And it's a start of a longer program where we're teaching people the full deal of open stack development across the board towards civilization reconstruction. 4-year program. We start with small things like you can join for the 2 weeks, you can join for a 2-month thing. We've got all kinds of opportunities, but we're running this in 2-month cycles. So the first month will be highly related to the house building, more just on the house design and other models of DIY, ready to build, modular construction type of home, which can enter the market also as a factory built modular home. That's all open source. This is the product, the release that we have, we build it, but we don't build it in a factory yet, like in terms of kits that we sell. We'd like to do that, so we're gearing up for that. We're building a 160 by 50 foot hangar where we can build like 6 of these homes at a time, and that's why we're inviting people actually in September to do that. So first time, real traction. You got no money, you don't want to pay 400K for a new home, spend 40K in materials. There you go. So that's that. The session starting November is actually we're looking at the machines, get back right to the machines. If we could do something at that point, so right now it would be. I mean, right now we're busy preparing for September 1, so we still have about 3 months till November. But I mean, if we can talk about making that real, what we'd like to have is the most, some of the most ambitious kind of development sessions that there are. Like, you probably are familiar with, I don't know how it is in your world of open source. In our world of open source, getting the bodies to show up for a consistent basis is a very hard thing. We're thinking that one way to address it is do this 2-month, very dedicated sprint. We have to fund it, so there's some cross subsidy happening. So you got to have some money, like at least for the materials, for machines that are used in the production process, open sourcing all of that. The biggest machine there might be the CNC torch table. However, potentially a Linux CNC based 5-axis mill, and we're looking actually at making engines like open EFI, open electronic fuel injection kind of that already exists to our luck. There's a lot of development there. So when we do the skid steer or the tractor thing, yeah, I mean the baseline is okay. Let's get a working machine, but we can also get ambitious doing that thing if we can find the subject matter experts in all those communities that can do it. I'm looking at it, okay, the more the merrier. At least we can get started on, okay, now here's the open source electronic fuel injection engine that can be the world's first lifetime design kind of engine, right? So once again, going at the lifetime design aspects, because it's open and modifiable and maintainable with extreme focus to ease of fabrication, like really knock it out of the ballpark in terms of access. So that's all good, right? But that's what we're looking for November, and just taking the standard skid steer geometry, putting in our power cubes and all of our drive system. No vendor lock-in. This is all open parts, things like that. The geometry is, that's pretty trivial. All the rest of the system is not hard at all. We've got good experience with all of that, so it's about integrating this. So if you think about a 2-month session, it's like, wow, okay, let's bring some subject matter experts who maybe we have to pay them, but make sure we have the talent on all the various elements. We've got a lot of the talent on the hydraulics or the tractor, DIY tractor design. It would be good to get everything else around. Like, I don't know what the latest on open source CNC torch tables are. Anyone who's done the best on that. We haven't done Linux CNC. We have done Linux CNC, but not connected to a real machine. We do actually have a good contact person who does make a fabricator of heavy duty CNC mills that we can, for example, do something like, okay, let's put Linux CNC on it. Let's pay the guy, pay for the materials. That's going to be some good budget there, but whatever it takes. And then on the RTK GPS stuff, I know there's open source RTK GPS. There's and then open source remote controls, like an app that you can put this on like you fly a drone, fly your tractor, that kind of a thing. So an app for the tractor, so you can control everything through the tractor. Also for safety. There's a big deal about safety there, because I can tell you right now that skid steers are dangerous when you get in and out, and this would actually avoid that danger of getting crushed and all that. So remote operation is actually a big deal. The other thing I was thinking about is like right now it costs like $1,600 for just a simple laser system to get like automated grading, because grading of foundations, or if you want to grade land. $1,600. Well, that's like a $5 Arduino trick. Come on, people, let's do it. So bringing people around topics like that, little exotics like, okay, now this is laser grading, cool, okay. The systems, for example, like if you are to laser grade a foundation, imagine 3D scan from some drones, put it into FreeCAD, get some toolpaths to now actually run your tractor. Automated grading stuff, that kind of stuff. A machine that does that for automated grading, it's not connected to any CAD. I don't believe the industry standards are connected to CAD. But imagine that. One of those systems is like $40,000. It costs as much as the machine itself, just for grading. So it's like, okay, that's some really good low-hanging fruit. If you get the electronics down, the mechanics are only like $5K or so. So we can do that. Anyway, but these are all the things that if we build an open source skid steer, we can talk about, okay, what are the priorities for the subsystems that go in it? At the very least, it's just a plain machine that now you're talking about we're getting from where we are right now. Like, we didn't make any commercial grade tractors. We have a home that's commercial grade now. But tractors, no, they're still prototype level. We've built 9 of them, but 9 different prototypes. So this time around, we can do it basically in those 2 months. We're going towards product release or near product release, at least pilot operation doable. For example, there's a guy from Mexico who's signing up for the program, and he wants to see his own open source equipment on his big farm, things like that. So there could be that aspect where we're saying, okay, this is for real use now. This is not so much a super user hacker thing, but now more towards the commercial product. So that's where we are. But love to if we could coordinate on November. So the way we were thinking, let me run by the concept of it, but it's like, okay, invite subject matter experts, make it a remote collaboration thing where you get large numbers in remote collaboration who are incentivized by the fact that we build it in the last week. So you're not talking about like playing around on a computer. You can actually come down, build this thing at the very end. So do that. The people on site within our cohort of the Future Builders Academy, we would be working on that at least like probably like 30 to 50% of our time. The other time we were building houses and doing other things. What else is in this? So it requires a budget for, this is PR, like to get the people on board, like to market this thing. So we get bodies showing up. And I think the biggest, well, other things would be inviting a few people. So we're going to, at that point, have our big hangar here where we can, if we want to, let's build a few copies of this thing. Well, maybe one, but I would say, how about a few? I think we can knock it out of the ballpark. This is not a hard problem. Let's build a couple at least, or a few, so people who want to actually build it sign up with this understanding that we're all in development and we're doing something unusual for the world. This is, it's a big deal. It's kind of like, Hero X platform, except Hero X is non-collaborative and proprietary throughout. So what we're trying to address is the complete open development method for commercial grade products. That's kind of how, just the very basic ideas. But then if we collaborate, I mean, we can get Ashwa and all the open source community muscle behind it. If you guys want to build that prototype, but you guys want to build it in Alabama?
Yes. So
we got
I mean,
2
it
right
sounds
there.
like
We probably have 3 right there because the guy in Mexico definitely wants to build it. Let's do it.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I
So
do have my PhD background. I have a significant background in design of control systems, autonomous
nice.
control, GPS. So this hi-fi laser
Nice.
grading system you're talking about, right in my
Oh, man.
wheelhouse. And I have connections, like I mentioned, at the university, which is down the street, to fabricate and test. And I should be able to get my hands on the hi-fi laser grading for validation.
Oh, wow.
So you're right in my alley.
They have a CNC torch table there.
I will look into that for you. I kind of doubt that we will have that, but I will be confident I can find someone to loan me that equipment if it's there.
Yeah. Oh, man. No, this is, I would say we could focus on this as a small introductory collaboration. Tell me more about what exactly was your degree in?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical, and what
So,
was your thesis on?
yeah, so my thesis was on exoskeleton control.
Yeah,
So
we talk about that
using,
here too. Yeah, the open source
yeah,
exoskeleton. Yeah.
pretty popular design concept. And so, using data-driven methods. So just what we're talking about is using autonomous path planning for the exoskeleton to interact with a human who may not be able to communicate their intent clearly because they may be experiencing disabilities or fatigue, and so not able to communicate their motor intent. So the exoskeleton should assist in such a way that completes the movement safely while inferring the user's intent.
Wow, that was your thesis.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, that's great. And given that you're working for Ashwa, what's your level of open source culture?
I'm a big proponent of it. I'm a little bit new to the space of publishing in open source, but the work we've been doing for the last 6 to 8 months has been highly intensive on documentation. So my strength right now is interpreting and producing open source documentation. That's my role at Oshawa.
What is your role at Ashwa exactly? Tell me more about that.
Postdoc. So NSF funded postdoc. So we have an NSF grant to
Wow.
support the open healthware ecosystem, health and medical hardware. And so the idea is we're chasing after some low-hanging fruit. How can we support the open community to produce well-documented
Oh
medical
man.
hardware? And so the challenge is so many of these companies working in open source, they either know the medical challenge or the documentation challenge, and there's a huge gap. So we're looking to onboard these medical makers into the space of high-quality documentation. So that's
Holy
my
cow.
take on open.
Wow. So you ran into open imaging?
Yeah, so a little bit of open imaging. So big people we're working with is Cosmic, so Cleveland open source neuromodulation folks. So that's been a keynote attendee for our workshops, and we were consulting with them to try and assist their activities.
Holy cow. Tell me more about I haven't heard of them. What do they do?
Yeah, so they're working on a neuromodulation platform. So it's basically a system that can plug into sensors, uh, electronic stimulators, and other platform level breakouts. And so their goal is to distribute these FDA approved open source neuromodulation breakouts to universities and clinics to support research in the area. But their problem is how do they balance their commercial needs, their FDA pursuits with open documentation standards? It's a real challenge for them.
So are they actually open source?
They're trying, they're doing their very best. And so we're helping them get across the finish line.
I'll take that as a no. Okay. Uh, Now, tell me more about open imaging. What's your contact with? So Lucas Winter. So we're talking about doing a potential session actually here where we prototype his thing, an open source MRI. Uh,
MRI, yeah.
you
I'm
so you
aware of
talked
their
to those
project.
people, or have you talked
I
to them?
haven't personally contacted them. They're in my research space, so I'm aware of their
Wow.
project,
Yeah.
but I haven't personally contacted them yet.
Okay. Those guys are still open source
Very
completely.
cool.
So wow, this is amazing. There's some good potential here. So what do you think would be our next steps?
So next steps, let me put together a plan for producing a hi-fi laser hi-fi laser enabled uh, uh, scanning mechanism, and then from there I'll put together a plan for assembling the open tractor with a high fidelity GPS module. So me and Nathan are working on that
Okay.
pretty quickly. That should get off the ground fast. Uh, so it's a big need for me because I desperately need to grade more of my land. So I am excited to be a test subject.
So you want to build this thing, and November. So that's going to be November, December, Christmas gift to the world. How about that? Build it right before Christmas.
Yep.
So you're serious about that? You have the funds to do it? It's going to be 15K, one
Yeah.
five.
So I mean, I'll put together a plan on that. My expectation is actually a large portion of my initial prototyping can be done before November. I can work with you on what the numbers look like. I should be able to put up because Nathan's giving me modules for free, and then I can look into what it will take to acquire the high fidelity module. So I've got drones, so that's kind of within my wheelhouse. So the only thing I'm thinking left is where am I going to source the reconstruction imaging. So using lasers, combination of lasers, maybe low fidelity lidar on these drone lidar packages for these drones, and then using Nathan's GPS module.
So
Uh,
that's now you're talking. That's some pretty advanced stuff there. So you're committed to all open source on that,
100%. Yep.
100%. Now my only concern about it. So that's more than I was thinking. The initial step is a simple thing like here's the laser guide. You've got a laser on a field, and you just leveling the field for a foundation or other kind of other kind of application where you need something on a certain profile or whatever. Which is, I mentioned the FreeCAD thing where you're scanning, starting from that. So you think you could actually do drone and scanning to actually get to that, like on that short time frame by November?
Yeah, I mean, so right now I'm in conference travel, so before the end of the week, what I'll do is I'll put together a timeline for you, but I would be optimistic about getting it done before September, to have a prototype laser-based, uh, 3D scanning, and path planning in a CAD environment. I could probably get that done before the end of
Holy cow!
August.
FreeCAD?
Sure, we could do that.
Oh, what are the available tools right now that you're building on?
Uh, do you mean in the CAD environment, or are you talking about just
CAD and
generally?
scanning, 3D scanning.
So having those drones and basically a camera, and I have access to some like low fidelity lidar camera. So probably I'm going to start there,
Mm-hmm.
and then see where we go in terms of. I think ultrasonic may play a role, and then as you mentioned, laser is going to play a role.
Hmm. Hmm. And you're talking about just basic off-the-shelf parts here.
So
Is
some
that
of
right?
these parts are commercial grade. So we have some, as I mentioned, some mobile robots that are pre-equipped with lidar scanners. So I'm basically going to rip those and
Yeah.
repurpose for our project.
Yeah. But also at the same time, make it such that, I mean, this is low cost, affordable, as in scalable, so that anybody has access to it who wants this, not that like now. How do you relate to this concept of I mentioned it a few times before that, and I looked into the skid steer ROI, and that for a tracked skid steer, the ROI over its life is only two because of operating costs. There's fuel and everything, and then expensive repairs such as the track, engines, transmissions going out, like final drive units, which means that in 5,000 hours you get to buy a new one if you want to be in commercial operation. So it's like a 5 year lifetime. How do you relate to that? Does that what kind of, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, just on my land, I've recently cleared an acre, and the cost that it takes for a non-professional, someone who doesn't want to take on the liability and the cost of a skid steer, cost me 10 grand to get someone out there and clear an acre with a skid steer. I mean, that's outrageous for the place that I'm in rural Alabama. No one is going to be able to afford that. And so, what are we going to let the environment decay and not maintain our properties? And we're out uh, competed and not able to take care of our community and our environment. So I've experienced personally the financial hardship of using these commercial systems with such low, um, long-term, with such low lifespan.
Yeah, so
And so
so
that,
tell me your
yep,
thoughts. Why are you paying 10K? Because I can relate an experience right here. We were trying to get somebody to grade our land, and they said, "Nah, sorry." Like we got them, and then they, a month later say, "Ah, sorry, won't be able to make it." And then I start thinking about it, and I conclude it's like, okay, these guys are on treadmill ROI, where they have to keep up with the fattest paying and longest term job. Like ours would be a couple of days here. So they're just not available because they're chasing the buck, and then in 5 years they get to chase the buck again to pay for their new skid steer that just broke. So I related to that. It's like that's why like all this infrastructure work, including things like geothermal. Geothermal is crazy expensive because nobody can even dig a trench to bury pipe. It's super expensive. So that kind of stuff. So now I relate to that at that level as well. It's like, oh yeah, the notions were always there. Of course, you want to lower the cost of everything, but it's becoming so clear how ridiculous modern day prosperity becomes because you can't afford it, and the cost of living goes up and up because all these things are so planned for obsolescence. So just so expensive. So riff on that.
yeah. I mean, so the place that I'm living is a rural, unincorporated city. So it has a lot of its own infrastructural support systems. So we have residential uh, folks who do and maintain these equipment. So that I've been able to benefit from, I got these guys in a week. We turned around the job very quickly. I didn't have to be there, to supervise, super long, but I was there 2, 3 times a day to make sure that guy was okay. The equipment was, and the land was actually a really challenging condition because of the grade. It was a sharp 30-degree incline for the whole acre of land. And it had been unmaintained for decades. So overgrown, dangerous conditions. Uh, but because of the community having its own support systems, having its own contractors based in this town, though it was rural and unincorporated, I was able to get the job turned around for 10K. Still a lot of money, but for the expertise and for the location, we were able to turn it around quickly. Now, to your point, these systems are so over engineered and with such little longevity in mind. I could have, and it's what brought me to talk to you is, hey, we need to make something so that I can get this job done in 2K or 3K and then give this back to the guy next door. Every street block should have one of these where I'm living, because
Yeah.
otherwise the land is going to go to shit, you know.
Now tell me, so what are you doing on an acre that's very steep? Like, what are you doing on it?
Building a cabin for my wife and I.
Or like, did you have to like clear it? You're not like clear an acre just to just yeah clear it, pretty much clear
Yep.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Huh.
my intention is to live on this space full time. Right now, I'm living closer to campus where I graduated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my intention is to move out here full time. So we're building a small cabin, little 1 bedroom for us,
Mm-hmm.
and then pushing forward on building classrooms for the veterinary medicine students, and building livestock and agricultural infrastructure.
So tell me, how many acres altogether?
40.
40. And so this one very steep one. Why'd you choose there? That was just like the best house spot.
Yeah. So basically, accessibility. So
Okay.
that place has the capability to reach all the other spots. So the problem is our land is intersected by creeks,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it difficult. There are better places to build, but you first have to place a bridge over the creek. In order to do that, you have to clear the acre anyways. So we
Mm-hmm.
decided to just live on the acre that we had to clear in order to get to the rest of the land.
I see. I see. Does the rest of the land have better, like more flat?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just difficult access conditions. You just had to yeah. Huh.
Yeah, and this goes back to the history of the space, which was all this land was owned by timber companies,
Okay.
and they did a poor job maintaining, uh, like it's not, they didn't maintain any livable standards of this space. So they just were doing this large scale agricultural operation, and now this town is being converted into a residential area. So we're us consumers are having to come in and fix all these issues.
Consumers.
But what I mean is the people moving into this space.
Uh huh. I see. Yeah. 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 Okay. Huh. So yeah. Yeah. So what next? How do we proceed here?
Yeah, okay. So I will, as I mentioned, so our Oshawa conference is this week, a healthware conference. So I'll
Which
be
conference is that?
the Open Healthware Conference. It'll be actually free to attend in person and virtually. It's hosted in New York.
Open
Um,
Healthware. Oh, why?
yes.
Why am I not paying attention? Was this like all over the Ashwa channels?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I didn't look. Oh, I thought so. I know about the Ashwa conference, which I'm trying to get to next year and speak at the next year's. I just wasn't aware of that there's actually more. That's good news too.
Very cool. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll be speaking at this conference. So that'll be a little bit of my turnaround this week. But in terms of my immediate next steps, I'm going to come back with a quote and a timeline on this, CAD-driven uh, land mapping, and get your thoughts on that. And I'll get started on that right away. Like I said, my hope is to have a prototype system approved by you, done by September 1, and move forward aggressively.
Wow, that'll be amazing. And you're thinking like, okay, leave the mechanical stuff, the easy stuff up to us.
No, I mean, I think I will take on whatever challenges need. So I think I will need to implement some mechanics here to test the system. And as I mentioned, I'm motivated to do this for myself on my land. So
Yeah.
I will certainly take that part on. Um,
Yeah, so I mean, so if that's the case, I mean, we should start passing docs back and forth regarding the, well, just start with the requirements and everything else of what this beast is going to look like. Yeah, so I'll share that with you. What's how do you where do you publish? your stuff. We have a wiki for open source ecology. I don't know. You want to publish there, or where do you typically publish stuff?
Yeah, that works for me. If that works for you, I mean, yeah, that works for me.
So you're saying look at something that's drone mapping, converted
Yeah,
into okay, now we've got 3D scans, and we've got now toolpaths, or it's not toolpaths, but in this case it's called motion planning.
yes.
And would you be using things like, so I mean there's ROS. Would you be like using ROS?
That may be the case. So I will look into what is going to be the easiest thing. ROS is the easiest thing to use for path planning, but there may be some readily available tools for what we're doing. So I'll do some research and get back to you.
Okay, this is
But
just
I have a good
amazing.
background with ROS.
Regarding November, I mean, what would your availability be like for that time? Because that session is going to start with a 2 week crash course on a subject at hand. Would you
So
be available
one
to
of the
like?
things,
Would you like collaborate remotely, or would you come to the site for the multiple build? Truck this thing home
so
with you?
yeah, I'd love to do that. One of the things I do while I'm out here is I work with K through 12 students on a pretty regular basis. So the students here don't have access to the high technology that exists in urban centers. So I go to their communities and deliver STEM content each week. So the only thing that is keeping me tethered here is not wanting to, uh, you know, disturb that process and the integrity of that. So what I'm thinking is for a week or 2 weeks, certainly I can make that work. And then if I can manage the rest remotely, that's the best case for me.
Yeah, I mean, so then you can possibly plan on just the end time, the end week of the extreme build.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Okay, well let's see how we can put this together. Right now, I'm basically trying to make noise and just start talking about okay, the November, the skid steer build. So it's perfect time, and love to collaborate and see how we can rope everybody else in here as well through the open source communities. So do you have a lot of contacts throughout all the different open source communities? Have you done a lot of outreach or
In the medical space, I
in
have
the
a
medical
good
space?
good network.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. Yeah. 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 Um, yeah. So let's do it. Let's do it. So you'll send me something like when?
I'll send you something by Monday.
That'll be great, and maybe I can respond and send some of our stuff. We've got a build of our 3,000 square foot facility this this Saturday, so we're trying to put the whole structure up using the rapid build methods we're using. So yeah, we'll be quite busy till Saturday. But yeah, let's do this. And for us, I mean, the skid steer part it's a big deal because just as far as the whole revenue model, so we're doing open source housing. That just makes that model so much more robust, and that's our goal. So this would be perfect to get this done earlier rather than later.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm all for that.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
No, thank you for your time. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing well. Doing well. Like I think I say that our ship has finally arrived. I mean, given that we have uh, an open source product that we can now use to cross subsidize the rest of the work. That's the big deal that's happened over the recent past. So we're ready to scale, and we're doing the Future Builders Academy, the apprenticeships. So we're trying to get that going, with the first thing being 24 people that then now build one of these houses every 5 days. Like that's the goal, to teach a solid cohort to do this swarm build method. So exciting time, doing pretty well, and let's see how we can do this. I didn't mention, but our goal right now is so there's a 4 year timeline till 2028. I made a promise a decade ago, or a decade before 2028, to finish the whole global village construction set by that time. So this is what this is about. This is all hands on deck, and I think we can do it with a cross subsidy through the product sales. If we can get this tractor as another product, the skid steer, that would certainly add to the whole package. So let's get this going. I'm excited.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for talking. And yeah, we'll be in touch. And you okay
Thank
publishing
you.
this video?
Yes, that sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.